How to Discover Spirit. Lecture by Paramahansa Yogananda at the Temple of Self-Realization Fellowship, Encinitas, California, February 16, 1941. There are various techniques for discovering the Spirit. Silence is one of them. Practicing silence means to silence all desires that try to percolate into your consciousness from outside, so you can go deeper within to feel your soul. Another step or technique is devotion, or speaking to God purely and simply, "You have created me. I didn't want to be created. It is your responsibility to reveal yourself to me." Talking to Him a little while and then forgetting will never bring His response. God is hard to get because not everyone means business with Him. The technique of prayer is usually ineffectual because most prayers are not deep or devotional enough. You have to repeat and repeat until you go really deep into the superconsciousness. Prayer in which your very soul is burning with desire for God is the only effectual prayer. You have prayed like that at some time, no doubt, perhaps when you wanted something very badly, or urgently needed money, then you burned up the ether with your desire. That is how you must feel for God. Talk to Him day and night, you will see that He will respond. Yoga is the science of finding God. The yoga system of contacting God is the best. It consists of various scientifically effective techniques of meditation. The great sages of India reasoned that logically there must be an exact law by which to approach God, just as there are exact laws by which He operates His universes. Through their experiments, the spiritual laws of yoga were discovered. The science of yoga will take hold in this country more than any other form of spiritual seeking. The entire trend will be away from churches, where people go only to hear a sermon, and into schools and quiet places where they will go to meditate and really find God. Everyone should practice divine communion with God. This is what Jesus did when He was with His disciples. I am not here just to tell you about the sugar of God's presence. My greatest aim is to make sure you taste it. What is the use of my talking about God unless you know Him and taste His sweetness? You must realize God, as I have realized Him. It is not out of pride that I speak this way, but because I am sent here to testify to you about Him. Day and night I think about my Lord. I am not wasting my time. Everything I do I am doing only for Him, so engrossed that I don't notice the passage of time or feel fatigue from my daily activities. I feel His presence when I work. That is also my meditation. I often give this illustration. Some worldly men remain drunk for years by hiding now and then to take a little drink to sustain the euphoric feeling, then they go back to their work. So is the divine man, he hides from people and meditates upon the Lord. Drinking deep of the intoxicating wine of God's presence, he whispers, "Lord, you are so wonderful, so marvelous. I love you." Then he goes back to his duties. Inwardly he talks to God all the time, no matter what he is doing. I am never separated from Him for a second. That is the state I wanted and worked for. I remember that once in a while I used to feel that He had gone away from me, and at such times I wanted to die rather than live without Him. I didn't find happiness in anything. Thus does the lover of God suffer when separated from Him. But a time comes when the devotee beholds the Lord dancing everywhere, and feels the immortal fountain of His spirit and His bliss ever bubbling in his soul. This is what you will feel if you meditate. Pray with such intensity that He will come to you. In the Gita is a beautiful promise from the Lord, "Immerse thy mind in me alone, concentrate on me thy discriminative perception, and beyond doubt thou shalt dwell immortally in me." The yoga techniques are more scientific than prayer, that is why they lead more swiftly to divine communion. In my youth, when I sought Him with prayer alone, it often took a long time to get results. After I had learned Kriya Yoga and practiced it, with deep devotion, I achieved results in a few minutes. Krishna taught that yoga meditation is greater than the path of asceticism, the path of devotion or prayer, the path of right action, or the path of discrimination. It is a faster way. An airplane will take you from Los Angeles to New York in a matter of hours. By bullock cart the journey would last several months. If you practice yoga, you will find it to be the airplane of spiritual progress. After you have perfected yourself in the yoga path, which embraces bodily discipline, mental discipline, and spiritual discipline, the obstacles to spiritual success are overcome and you can commune freely with God. That is why it is the highest path. And that is why I am trying to acquaint people with it. Yoga is not a myth, a creation of someone's imagination. It is a true science. Why shouldn't you take from India the greatest methods for finding God that have ever been given to mankind? I went to the masters in India for training, and they taught me about Christ in a profound and loving way such as never I heard in the West. I saw Christ in their company. They talked with Him. Did Saint Francis lie to us? He saw Christ every night. Lord Jesus lives. I have seen Him. When you are behind a screen, you see everyone else outside, but they can't see you. So the saints and the angels can see you, but you can't see them unless you practice yoga. Your prayer must be intense to reach God. Last summer I stopped at a monastery where I met one of the priests. He was a wonderful soul. I asked him how long he had been on the spiritual path as a monk. About 25 years, he replied. Then I asked, "Do you see Christ?" "I don't deserve it," he answered. "Maybe after death, he will visit me." "No," I assured him, "you can see him from tonight if you make up your mind." Tears were in his eyes, and he remained silent. You must pray intensely. If you sit night after night practicing meditation and crying to God, the darkness will be burned up, and you will see the light behind this physical light, the life behind all life, the Father behind all fathers, the Mother behind all mothers, the friend behind all friends, the element behind all elements, the power behind all powers. That is where I live, and where I want you to come. Practice of yoga awakens soul longing. You have gone away from God like the prodigal son, and it is only by returning to Him, within, that you will make this vale of tears a haven of heaven. There is no other way. If everyone in this world were a millionaire, there would still be troubles and sorrows, for you cannot buy unshakable happiness. That comes only by following a technique of yoga, and by devotion, by going within. Practicing yoga is half the battle. Even if you don't feel enthusiastic in the beginning, if you go on practicing you will come to feel that tremendous longing for God which is necessary if you are to find Him. Why don't you make the effort? Whence do all the beautiful things in creation continually emerge? Whence comes the intelligence of great souls, but from the storehouse of the infinite Spirit? And if these wonders you see about you are not enough to induce you to seek Him, why should He reveal Himself to you? He has given you the capacity for love that you may yearn for Him above all else. Don't misuse your love and reason. And don't misuse your concentration and intelligence on false goals. This world is only pictures of light. Night is the time for meditation. Never go to bed until you have communion. I never do. Last night, as I sat on my bed, His presence engulfed me. The whole